What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and Happy New Year. Yes, 2025 is officially over. As I'm recording this, it is literally New Year's Day, January 1st, and I have logged 45 horror movies that came out this year. Now, there was only two, I think, that were, super popular that I missed, and that was Shelby Oaks and Anaconda. I just never got around to Shelby Oaks, and Anaconda just came out, and I didn't feel like watching it. So, otherwise, pretty much every other horror movie that came out this year, I have seen, and I am going to be ranking. I usually would be really excited to go through and talk about all of these movies that I've seen in a year. Except for the fact that this year sucked for horror movies. This is the worst year for horror in a while. I mean, maybe the last, since 2020, I think this is the worst year for horror. I mean, even when I get up to, my top 15, there's still complaints I have for majority of the movies. So, I'm going to be talking about all 45 today. I'm going to be ranking them all. But just know, I was very disappointed and let down by this year. But, we got 45 movies to talk about. Let's get right into it. Which horror movie do I think is the worst from 2025? Now, I didn't see every one from 2025. I saw all of the main ones, all the big ones that people really, really wanted, or were excited for, or I was excited for, or people were talking about. So I watched all of those, and I watched some that I just wanted to watch. And my last place is one of those. Number 45, Popeye's Revenge. Wow. I mean, I've seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I've seen Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. I've seen the mean one. And this one still blew me away by how awful it was. Okay, I mean, we need to stop with the, remembering, a classic childhood character as killers. We need to stop. We need to end this now. Because this one literally made it so, I think Bambi the Reckoning came out this year. I didn't care. I did not want to watch it. This movie killed that. And another one that we're going to talk about here soon. But this movie is called Popeye's Revenge. The killer's name is Popeye. The killer somewhat resembles Popeye. And the woman in the movie is named Olive Oil. That is the only similarity we get between the original Popeye cartoons and this movie. The reason I think the mean one is the best of all of those is because they take the original story and they make it horror. They make the Grinch horror rather than in this one where they're like, okay, we have this crappy, little slasher movie plot we got laying around. What if we named the killer Popeye? That makes it Popeye movie, right? That means Popeye's the killer, right? Because the backstory that they spend 10 minutes telling you about has nothing to do with Popeye or boats or olive oil or spinach or anything to do with the original cartoons. Nothing to do with it. So his entire origin story is just he was a kid that was bullied and ended up dying. And now he's coming back for revenge. Hence the title, Popeye's Revenge. I could have gathered that. But he doesn't say anything that Popeye says. He doesn't. They reference spinach one time. One time. They throw a can of spinach through a window and it's like, oh, look, that means he ate the spinach. Oh my God. There are so many ways that you could have made this movie better. And that's by just, make it have anything to do with the original. What I thought this was going to be is that, the spinach gave him his power in his life. No, the spinach has nothing to do with it. It literally nothing. So and then you get into, the actual movie side of things. Obviously, it's horrible because it doesn't have anything to do with Popeye. But if you said it was a pretty basic slasher movie, I mean, it's probably like, 2 stars then. No, this is the worst version of a slasher movie because you have this group of horribly acted teens that you hate. They are so hateable, so unlikable. The dialogue is horrendous. They're acted terribly. And you just honestly want them all to get killed. Like, you hate them so much. Even the main girl has no personality. Like, you don't care if she gets killed either. There's nothing in this movie. There is legitimately nothing. The dialogue sucks. The gore effects were solid at best. And I thought Kelly Ryan Sanson did a decent job as Olive Oyl. But those are the only complaints I have for this absolute atrocity of a film. Number 44, Woman in the Yard. Woman in the Yard was a movie. That's about all I can tell you about it, honestly. I mean, there's this woman, and she's sitting in the yard, and it's creepy because she's sitting in the yard, and she shouldn't be sitting in the yard because the woman in the yard, there shouldn't be a woman in the yard. So it's creepy because there shouldn't be a woman in the yard. Oh yeah, what was this movie about again? So, like, besides that, like, she is somewhat scary when you first see her sitting there, and then it's just completely worn off because she just doesn't move. And then you even have, like, this potentially intimidating villain of this woman who just won't leave the yard. And she comes out there, and instantly she starts talking, and it's, like, that stupid, awful, raspy voice. Like, it was the worst voice. It sucked me right out of the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what this is gonna be. And then it just tries to do, like, the Babadook thing, where it's like, oh, the demon is the physical incarnation of grief, and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, look, it's just her grief manifesting as a demon. I don't care. I don't care. This movie sucks. It was boring. The characters are moronic, like some of the dumbest I have ever seen in a movie. I'd put them up there with the characters in Creep for stupidest horror characters of all time. I don't care about the mom. I don't care about the kids. Honestly, I was hoping that the kid was going to die because he's annoying. The mom, I don't even really care about. It felt like it was really trying to rip off Babadook, but just making it way, way worse and way less interesting and way more boring and way more just CGI demon movie. So, I have little to nothing to say about this movie. I don't even have, like, things that make me mad. There's just nothing. Number 43 is the worst horror movie sequel I saw in 2025. And I thought that Strangers Chapter 1 was as bad as the Strangers series could get. I think they took that as a challenge because the Strangers Chapter 2 is... it's horrendous. It is horrible beyond fathomability. You have this concept, okay? These people... they go to random people's house, they knock on the door. If they answer the door, then they torment and kill them. That is that's your concept, okay? That's what they do in the first movie. It's pretty much what they do in the second movie. It's even what they do in Strangers Chapter 1. This one, they're like, what if we have the main character from the last movie. She wakes up in a hospital. And then she gets chased. And then she runs, and then she finds these people. Then she runs from them. Then she gets found by the strangers. Then she runs from them. Then she finds these people again. Then she runs again. Then she runs back into the strangers. Then she runs again. Then she finds these people for another time. Then she runs again. Then she finds the strangers again. Then she runs. Like, it was literally just the main character running. It builds nothing. It leads nowhere, and it ends nowhere. Like, they still have yet to explain anything. Like, I get it. They set it up as a trilogy. The first one, I even said in my ranking of the Strangers movies that it felt like they were building to something, but the movie just didn't function as a film. This movie feels like they're building to nothing. Like, they took all the momentum that was maybe there in Strangers Chapter 1 and stomped it into the dirt, spit on it, and just forgot about that movie. Because this movie is legitimately main character runs, main character finds somebody, main character runs, main character finds somebody, main character runs, main character finds somebody, over and over and over and over and over, and it's just her running the whole movie. That's it. Number 42 is, remember what I just said about Popeye's Revenge and how we need to stop doing these, like, childhood killer movies? Yes, I said it because of Popeye's Revenge and this movie, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Now, I picked this movie up from Walmart because I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that movie came out this year. That's one that I still need to see. Maybe this one won't be as bad.
That's a good one.
Well, this movie sucks ass. Okay, it's so horrible. It is like, you have a good concept here. You have a good concept, and it's just completely squandered. So Peter Pan is tormenting these kids because he wants to bring them to Neverland, but he's actually just insane, and he's making Neverland up, and he just wants to kill them. That could be a decent concept. Like, I think I went a little bit far with saying it was a good concept. It's a decent concept. A decent concept. And what do they do with it?
You get nothing!
Nothing at all. Like, I have a few compliments. Opening scene, I thought was good. Built up Peter Pan as a somewhat intimidating villain. I liked the opening scene. I like the performance of Peter Pan. He is at least intimidating, but like I said with Popeye, he shares no resemblance to Peter Pan besides the namesake. He acts more like Pennywise rather than, like, I would imagine him more as like a running around, like, quick, fast-talking, jokey villain, maybe more like a Freddy Krueger, maybe like a bit more high-pitched voice, but not Pennywise. Like, I just don't feel like Pennywise is more scary and intimidating, and that's what they go for in this, which is just not what I imagined for a Peter Pan movie. It's just, yeah. And like I said, there's a couple compliments. I already said the opening scene, but I also like the school bus scene where it's revealed that he just straight up, spoiler alert for Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, that he straight up murdered an entire bus of kids. I thought that was pretty horrific, and it made me feel something. We do have the main character here. She is completely uninteresting. Her family is uninteresting. Her friend is uninteresting. Her friend's family is uninteresting. Every single time one of her friend's family is killed, I don't care, because we never really even met them. Her brother, I guess, is in danger the entire movie. Sure, you know, set up that sibling relationship. She blames herself for it. Feels like the story that is there is too cliche for it to actually matter, and the concept is just ruined by horrible acting, horrible writing, and just a couple of characters that really don't work for this story. Like, you have Peter Pan, okay? He's insane, he's trying to kill kids, he thinks that he's bringing them to Neverland and saving them. And like I said, you expect him to be more of like a boyish killer, laughing, maybe like laughing as he kills, make something more like that. And you don't get that. But then you also get Tinkerbell, who thinks she's a fairy, but is not. I don't know why Tinkerbell is in this movie. I literally think that they were like, that's right, Tinkerbell's in the original Peter Pan. Yeah, write her into a couple pages, I guess. Like, I don't get what her purpose in this movie is, because in the original Peter Pan, if anything, she has way more villain tendencies than Peter Pan does. And in this one, she's like the anti-hero that ends up saving the protagonists. I don't know what they were trying to do here. I was setting myself up for failure when I said maybe this one won't be as bad, because it's just as bad. And rounding out our bottom 5, we have I know what you did last summer, 2025. Yes, I bought it. That is for completion's sake, because I am a collector and I have the first 3, so it only makes sense that I have this one. This movie's horrible. Somehow, it's not the worst of the series, though, because the third one is maybe the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. This movie's also horrible. Like, where do I even start? Like, I guess we can start with the reveals. Spoiler warning if you haven't watched this movie. Honestly, I don't care. Like, I don't care about spoiling this movie. You have 2 twist villains here. You have the first twist where you're like, oh, okay, well, using process of elimination, it has to be her. I forgot her name even. That's how uninteresting this character is and her motivations. Like, I just was like, okay, sure. You know what? At least it wasn't a bad reveal. Speaking of bad reveals, what if we take this character that was in the first 2 movies as a protagonist who was trying to save him and his friends from the fishermen? That's your killer. Sorry, did I mishear you?
I think my brain just committed suicide.
Like, they swing for the fences with this twist. Like, they swing for the fences and end up getting beamed in the mouth because holy shit, Ray? Like, what? Especially this movie, this one, not even the first 2, this one contradicts that. Because the entire movie leading up to this, he has been the same character with these same motivations that we've seen him as, and he stayed in this town to protect people in case the fishermen ever came back. And that's what he does for this movie. He even kills his accomplice.
You killed your partner.
Did I?
And then they're like, well, what if we just throw in a little extra shock value for you? Just throw that in there. And, oh, look, it's Ray. See? You would have never guessed that. You're right, because that's the most stupid, idiotic thing I've ever heard. And you should be punched in the face for even suggesting it. Because, like I just said, this movie, the one that he is revealed as the killer in, contradicts his motivations more than the first 2 do. And he's the protagonist in the first 2. I just don't. I can't fathom how anybody saw this twist and was like, oh, we're gonna get them good with this one. They're never gonna guess. Yeah, we won't, because nobody thinks you're that stupid. Clearly, we underestimated you. But, besides that, the rest of the movie, the first, I'd say like first 45 minutes, I was like, okay, this is alright. It's decent. It's fine. Maybe like a 2.5 star, 3-star movie at best. Yeah. Twists really ruin it. And then you end the line. You end the movie with the reveal. The reveal that Madeline Klein's character is still alive. Sorry, first off, how the hell does that make any sense? I'll talk about what she says in a second here, but how the hell does that make any sense? She was stabbed, fell overboard in the middle of the ocean, and somehow does not bleed out in the ocean, does not drown because she's been stabbed, and swims back to shore. Don't get how that makes any sense, but
All of this could have probably been avoided if men just went to therapy.
Did I accidentally put in Black Christmas 2019 again? Seriously, this line, sure, it's supposed to be like some little like, oh, ha, 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 men, they never go to therapy. One of the killers in this movie is a woman. So like the first 20 minutes, I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, people were saying this was really, really bad. And I was watching, I was like, okay, that's fine. Then about 45 minutes in, I was like, okay, I mean, it's not great. And then we get to the twist, and...
Oh, damn. Now I see it. Now I see it.
Number 40, Keeper. You can keep it. It's not a keeper. It's not a keeper. Sorry, I think I'm out on Osgood Perkins, honestly, dude. I thought he had so much potential, but I have yet to really love any of his movies. Monkey was decent. Longlegs had some good moments. This one of the biggest disappointments of the year, honestly. I went into this and I was like, okay, I think this could be good. This could be good. I watched the trailers and I was really interested, and the movie's not interesting. So the performances are solid, and that's about all I have good to say. So this whole movie, like the first hour, there's not a villain. There's barely even plot. It's just kind of this couple. And you obviously assume that there's going to be a twist villain. Who do you think it's going to be? The main character girl or the boyfriend who she knows nothing about and has been acting suspicious the entire film? Which one do you think's the twist villain? Bet you can guess which the twist villain is. And then once he's revealed as the villain, okay, like his performance is solid, but I wouldn't say he's all that intimidating. I get what the film is trying to say, and I think as far as those themes that it's trying to say, it actually does a pretty solid job at telling those. But the problem is the movie isn't interesting. It just completely, especially like at the ending, it just goes off the rails and you do not understand a single thing that's happening. And I don't think anybody does. I don't even think the director knows what's happening. Like, first hour is so uninteresting and boring, and then the last half hour is so messy and convoluted and confusing that I can't enjoy any of this movie. Besides, like I said, the two decent performances. Speaking of disappointments, we have possibly the biggest disappointment of the year. Him. Now, I saw this trailer and I was like, okay, yes, absolutely yes. This is going to be a good movie. And then they just don't do anything. Like this movie, much like what I just talked about with Keeper, nothing happens in this movie, okay? You get the first 10 minutes about this guy, you know, you get some of his backstory, some of his origin, you know, you get some of the origin story of the football player, and then he gets brought to this player's camp, like his football training camp, and, yeah, he just kind of hangs out there. Things happen. Normal things happen, weird things happen. It just kind of meanders for like the middle hour. Like, I was surprised by how little happens in an hour. Like, they managed to start off the movie, and by the third act, you've gone nowhere. Like, essentially nothing has happened to make this character progress in any way, to make this story progress in any way. The final 30 minutes or like 15 minutes, however long that is solid. I enjoyed it, but I definitely didn't think it was worth sitting through an hour of nothing. The scene where, you know, he's like forced to do this again and the guy is getting football shot at his face, I thought was good. It was interesting. I was interested to see where this would go. Turns out it was nowhere. Tyreek Withers, good performance. Same with Marlon Wayans. I was shocked by how good of a serious actor he was, because, you know, he's usually just comedy guy, and he has a couple of funny moments in this as well. Yeah, like I said, the first hour and a half, maybe, nothing happens. It just meanders and just is a movie without actually building anywhere. And then in the last 10 minutes, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, we're supposed to do something here. He's got to kill him. There. And he killed him? Okay, movie's over. And the award for most unknown film that I watched in 2025 goes to Please Don't Feed the Children. What? Yes, exactly. This is a Tubi original film. I just saw it, and I was like, hey, that's kind of interesting. And the concept is kind of interesting. So, this movie is about a dystopian world where a virus that is killing off people is only spread through kids. So kids are kind of outcast to society, and they're kind of forced to fend for themselves. And you get, like, these people hunting down the kids. And here's the one big issue with this film. Obviously, this film is told through the kid's perspective. And you're like, oh, God, you know, that really sucks that they're, like, hunting down the kids. Like, obviously, you're supposed to root for the kids. The kids are insufferable. I wanted and actively hoped that they would all die. Like, there was a point where a couple of the kids got killed, and I was like, please do it to the rest of them. The only one who's decent is the main girl. She's the only one that you can somewhat root for. And she meets, like, right at the beginning, she meets this group of kids, and they're immediately dicks to her. They immediately make fun of her and harass her. But she decides to stick around, I guess, and just hang out with them. I guess you gotta stick together, but they are actively hating on you. And then the second she joins, they just all change. Like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, you were just being a dick to her, like, 3 seconds ago, and now she's one of your... What? For a Tubi film, this isn't that bad. Now, obviously, it's down here. It's bad. But for a Tubi film, it's not that bad. And for 2 reasons. 1, Michelle Dockery. 2, Giancarlo Esposito. They put in good performances in this. And that is shocking because, like I said, it's a Tubi original film. But they both put in great performances, and it honestly shocked me enough to put it up here. So, number 37, oh my god. I mean, what? Ziam. It's Ziam. But, like, what is this movie? Because I was so excited going into it. A new zombie movie that was getting good attention. People were talking about it. People said that they liked it. And then you watch it, and it's just nothing. There's not... It's a zombie movie, sure. But it's basically just that one scene from World War Z, but, like, the whole movie. Like, it is just this guy, who is apparently, like, the greatest fighter on planet Earth, taking down a hospital filled with zombies so that he can get his girlfriend back, who is at the top. That's legitimately the entire movie. Like, it is just an hour and a half of this guy beating up zombies. There is no plot. The plot is... he's got to get up to the top floor and get his girlfriend. And he has to get through all of these zombies. There is nothing, there's no personality to any of these characters. They're just generic action hero guy and love interest. And he has to kill all these zombies to go get to his love interest. And did I mention that this guy has more plot armor than the entire MCU combined? This guy survives literally like 10 explosions at point-blank range. I'm not even kidding. At the end, the entire building explodes. And he's just standing there because he's such a badass. No, he would be killed, not only from the shockwave, the collapsing building, and the heat. Number 36. Honestly, this movie just depressed me. Not because it's depressing, because you ruin Samara Weaving. Borderline. You have a great horror actress here, Samara Weaving, who puts her all into this. She gives it everything she's got. And nobody else in this movie does. It's just... I don't even know what they were going for. Like, I don't know if they were going for full comedy, or if they were going for a horror comedy, or if what they were doing, because everything that happens in this movie is so stupid. Like, it's not even funny stupid. It's like, oh, this guy has short-term memory loss, and he wants to marry Samara Weaving's character, but oh no, now he forgot that he was trying to marry Samara Weaving, and he thinks that Samara Weaving is this tall black guy. So then now he makes him dress up in a dress and do the wedding. But that's your villain, too, because he's holding these people hostage to be at the wedding. And Samara Weaving is trying to... I don't know. Honestly, like, the jokes that are in this movie are, oh, look, he forgot because he has short-term memory loss. Get it? Because he forgot. Get it? Because he forgot that? Because they were just talking about that, but then he forgot it, then he got confused, and then he forgot it. Get it? Because, like, that's the whole fucking movie. It's the only thing they can do. It's the only thing they do is that, like, oh, look, and he forgot. Okay, now he's confused again. And he forgot that. Now he's confused again. And now it's just, oh, it's so funny because he's doing the same thing over and over. I guess the other girl, Alba Baptista, I believe is how you say her name, is solid as well. Otherwise, please never make me watch anything like this again. Like, you ruined Samara Weaving. She put in a good performance, gave it her all, and you made this movie. Here we go. Number 35, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, obviously not the worst of the year. We're still only at, like, 1-star movies here. That's how bad most of these films are. I saw some people saying this was a good movie, and that it actually was better than the original. And I didn't love the original, but so help me God, this movie makes the original Five Nights at Freddy's look like The Godfather. Like, this movie is such a piece of shit. Like, they just don't do anything. I think in the first movie, they were like, oh, we don't know if there's going to be sequels or not, because we don't know how people are going to respond to it. This one, they know there's going to be sequels, so they just think they can get away with not doing anything. They're like, what? Well, I mean, if we just, like, set up a bunch of stuff, then people will come back for the next movie. Forget making an actual movie. If we just set up this, and set up this, and set up this character, and set up that plot point, and set up this character, and set up these characters getting together, and set up these characters breaking up, and setting up this death, they don't pay anything off, because they're like, hey, you gotta stick around for the next movie, because you're gonna be there. I know you will. I will. But not because this movie was good, because this movie isn't good. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing that happens. Like, they add this puppet that wasn't mentioned in the previous movie, but he's here. Or she's here, I think. Then you also add in that there's apparently a bunch of Freddy's Fazbear pizzerias, even though there was only one in the original movie, and they were never mentioned. And these characters that were decent in the last movie are pretty horrible this time around. Josh Hutcherson somehow has less character than in the last movie, and he's also somehow more unlikable in this movie. You get the little girl, who I forget her name off the top of my head, who is idiotic beyond belief. Like, I get it, she's a kid, but, like, watch the damn kid, because everything in these two movies happens because of her, pretty much. Especially in this one. Then you also add in Michael, which is separate from Mike, who is the main character, because this one's name is Michael, and he doesn't go by Mike, only Michael. So that's how you know that they're different. And he's added into this one for a couple of scenes, but they just are like, oh yeah, we'll explain it in the next movie, because they don't do anything with him. And then they reveal, oh yeah, that's Vanessa's brother. And now Josh Hutcherson's character is mad because she lied to him and didn't tell him that she had a brother. So now he can't trust her anymore. Speaking of Vanessa, you get her. She gets a bit more characterization here, a bit more backstory. She has a couple decent nightmare sequences. She has this friend that apparently got killed and is the puppet that they didn't mention in the last movie either. You take these already uninteresting characters and you make them even less interesting in this movie. And speaking of characters, 2 actors in this movie were advertised in literally everything. Matthew Lillard and McKenna Grace. They have a combined 2 minutes of screen time. I wish that was an exaggeration. It is not. Matthew Lillard gets about 2 dream sequences, and McKenna Grace gets about a minute before she's killed. What a waste. Like, McKenna Grace is a great actress and someone I was actually excited to see how she was going to play into this role. And you see her kind of in the TV on the background as like these ghost hunters. And then they go to this Five Nights at Freddy's. They set up Michael's character and then she gets killed. Okay. Guess you got some more audience members because people were like, oh, McKenna Grace is in this one. I'll go see it. She's not in it. She's not. She's, technically, she is in it, but she's not. Like, I literally sat there for like a minute and I was like, okay, so that was obviously a fake out death, right? Like, they're not gonna kill off this actress who is advertised in legitimately every single press screening and interview. That would be stupid. Like, either that or maybe she's gonna, like, voice the puppet. Like, because that would be pretty cool, you know? Maybe she gets to voice the villain. No, that's it. These next 10 movies are all just like, Like, I'm not going to talk about these for very long because, like, I looked ahead and, like, yeah, like, the next 10 movies are all just fine to Like, there's not much to say here. And also, I added that sign over there and I didn't realize how bright it was. So I might have to turn that off in a little bit because that is blinding. But with number 34, we have Match, which is the better of the 2 to-be original films I watched this year, which is not saying much because it's still pretty low down on my list, but it is significantly better than the other one I talked about. The performances were solid, the makeup was top-notch, but it's just like, guys, we have Barbarian at home. That's it. It's literally feels like Barbarian. It kind of feels like if Barbarian and Fresh were a movie, like, combined, and they're just, like, I've seen both of those movies, so I feel no need to watch this movie because I could just watch those 2 movies, which are a lot better. And in those movies, the protagonist isn't the most idiotic human being to ever grace the face of the planet, because every decision she makes in this movie gets her friends and her sister murdered because she is so unbelievably moronic. So, like, it's just like, what if the guy that you were going on a date with is secretly evil? What a great and original plot. Number 33 was another really big disappointment for me. We have Wolfman. You have The Invisible Man, like one of the best remakes of modern years, directed by Lee Winnell, and I was like, okay, he's gonna tackle another Universal monster. He's gonna tackle Wolfman this time, another pretty tragic villain. It's not very good. It's just kind of boring. Julia Garner, I love her so much. She's amazing in literally everything, but even she couldn't save this movie. Like, I honestly don't really have much to say about it. It's just a werewolf story. Like, it's as basic as you can get. That's really all I have to say. Oh my god, VHS Halloween was so bad. I was so excited for this movie. Like, this might be the biggest disappointment on this entire list. Like, I just said Wolfman was a disappointment. This one I was so excited for because I love the VHS series. I was kind of out on the first 3. I was like, okay, I mean, the second one was fine, but the modern the modern movies were good. I liked them. VHS 94 is one of my favorite found footage movies. This one is so below the rest of, like, I put this on the same level as the original VHS, maybe even a little bit below it. Like, I guess we'll just kind of break it down by segments. So this one I do have a lot more to say than some of the ones I'll talk about in a little bit here. First segment is the wraparound Diet Phantasma. I prefer when they do the wraparounds like this, where it's just like cut up a story, because usually the framing devices end up being pretty boring and terrible. So I kind of like that they do that, but it also takes away a lot of the tension in this one. It's about a soda that kills people, that has like, you drink it and you get demons inside you, and it has some good kills, some good gore in here, but otherwise it's just kind of like a showcase of some creative kills, which it was fine, it was fun, didn't really care for that one. Then you have Coochie Coochie Coo as like the first actual segment here. This one was pretty terrible. The performances were fine, but the characters were unlikable. I didn't find it creepy, I just found it gross, and I didn't really care for it. Then we have Ut Supra Sic Infra, I think is how you say that. This one can go on to the long list of forgettable supernatural VHS segments. It's one of the more not forgettable, more memorable forgettable VHS supernatural segments. Then we have Fun Size, and this was the one I was most excited for. I saw the concept and I was like, all right, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make the story about kids turning into candy interesting and good? We're not. This is a full-on comedy segment. Like, it is full-on comedy. And here's the thing. The jokes that they decide to go for are penis jokes. Why are there so many goddamn penis jokes in this? Like, there is so many penis jokes. Like, that's the only freaking humor they have in this entire thing. They talk about balls and penis like 8 times. To the point where I was like, oh my god, they're just like, again? Like, again. Like, the first guy gets killed, he gets chopped up and turned into candy, and they're, like, searching for the key that I think was, like, in his hand, and they're like, oh my god, it's his balls! Like, okay, you know, maybe if that was the only occurrence of it, but literally 2 minutes earlier, we had a scene where this guy finds a candy bar in the shape of a penis, and takes a bite out of it, and it oozes white liquid. And then, you know, you get this, like, really crappy killer, and then these, like, pretty mediocre effects. I hated this segment. It was by far my least favorite of this one. Then we have Kid Print. This one was fine. It was just, like, really, really messed up. Like, it was the one that really made you feel, like, sick. Like, they've had some effed up VHS segments, particularly the first movie. And this movie feels like it could be in the first movie, because you really just feel for this main character, because, like, you have this really sick and twisted guy who is murdering kids, and he just gets blamed for it, and when he gets murdered, the town celebrates, even though he's an innocent man. And that, like, especially coming right after the comedy segment, I got some whiplash. Like, I was like, okay, we had a full-on comedy. Okay, we're just going full horrificness. Okay, all right. And then the final segment, Home Haunt, was by far my favorite, and was able to drag this movie up to this placement, because this one has some gnarly kills, and much like Diet Phantasma, it's basically just a showcase for these gory, amazing, fantastic kills. But in this one, it's a bit more fun. I like it more than Diet Phantasma. It's about these guys setting up a haunted house, and eventually the things start coming to life. And the thing is, with this one, they don't care about killing kids. And not just this segment. This entire movie, they murder so many kids in this. It is like, they just don't even care. Number 31, now we are entering the, like, era of the list. Like, it's just, okay. Good Boy had a very interesting concept. It's a movie told from the perspective of a dog, and that's great. That is something that I was like, yes, buckle me the hell up. I am watching that. That sounds amazing. The interesting concept is about as far as you get. It's pretty boring. I was bored out of my mind for the middle hour of the film. The ending is confusing. I don't understand what happens in this movie at all. It kind of reminded me of Keeper, but this one at least had the privilege of every once in a while you get to see this adorable dog, and there was a couple scary moments. This dog actor, I mean, give this dog actor an Oscar, because god damn, he's great in this. But it's just not that interesting. But I did have one last thing I wanted to say about this. Oh, look at the cute dog. Moving on to number 30, we have Hell of a Summer. And this is actually going to be like, I didn't care for the movie at all. But I would say this is a positive review, if that makes any sense. I didn't care for the movie, but it made me excited for whatever Finn Wolfhard's going to do next. Like, I saw potential as him for him as a filmmaker. Like, him and Billy Brick, is that the other guy's name? Yeah, I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but they made this movie, and I actually see a lot of potential in this. There was some good humorous bits. I really liked the water thing. I don't know why it was just so goofy, but a lot of it didn't work in this one. I think it's paced a little bit weird. The kills aren't as good as I would have loved. A pretty basic slasher horror comedy, but I saw enough potential in here that I think, like, when he makes another movie, I will gladly check it out. But unfortunately, this one I just didn't care for. I didn't find it all that funny. I found, like I said, decent bit of it funny. Finn Wolfhard's pretty funny. The majority of the laughs I got from this film were actually from him. And the rest of the characters are all kind of like stereotypes. I wasn't really bothered by that. I don't despise every single character. I just really came out of this one being like, movie was fine, but I kind of see some potential in Finn Wolfhard as a filmmaker. For 29, pile it onto the list of disappointing horror movies from this year, Death of a Unicorn. You give me a unicorn killer movie. A movie where a unicorn goes crazy and kills people. And you make it bad? Really? I don't know how you can mess that up. Just have a unicorn rampaging around killing people. But it's just not interesting. It's not interesting at all. Like, I like Jenna Ortega. I like Paul Rudd. They're both great in this because they're great in everything. I even really love Will Poulter. That's about it. Like, it just overall ended up being like, meh. Like, there was some good moments. There was some decent parts. There was some funny moments. There was some pretty boring parts. The ending is insane. There's like a huge middle portion of the movie where it just feels like it's treading water and just going nowhere. But I didn't hate it. Opus was surprisingly okay. Like, it wasn't horrible like people are saying. I saw it on frickin' Letterboxd at like 1-star reviews mainly. It's fine. It is a fine movie. Like, it is the definition of just, okay. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. Some of the performances worked. Some of them didn't. It was okay. Like, it definitely just feels like The Menu mixed with Midsummer and Get Out. Like, just those three kind of, like, mixed together, and just, like, every beat of this movie, if you've seen those three, you're going to predict what happens. You know everything that happens if you've seen those three movies. But Juliette Lewis was very good. John Malkovich was very good. I'm going to butcher this name. Ayo Edebiri. Sorry if that's wrong. Also puts in a fantastic performance. So those three good performances and the movie just being okay as the rest is enough to catapult it like up to here on the list, which says a lot about the quality of the films below it. Number 27, we have The Parenting, and this was a Max original that blew my, or I guess, it's HBO Max again, right? They changed it back. But this one blew my mind by how much I actually enjoyed it. Like, I expected, Max original horror comedy starring Lisa Kudrow, like, that's your one claim to fame. It's probably not going to be very good. It was okay. I'm not going to say it was great, not going to say it was bad, because it wasn't either. It was just kind of okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to rewatch it, but it was fine for what I wanted from it. It had some surprisingly funny moments. I enjoyed the crazy witch plot. Granted, any kind of witch story I'm going to like a little bit more, considering my favorite character in all of fiction is a witch. So, I'm a sucker for witch stories. What can I say? Then you add in Hank from Breaking Bad, and like I said, Phoebe from Friends, and you got some decent horror comedy fun in here. It sort of flew under the radar, so if you like the actors attached to it, if you like horror comedies, just don't expect a great movie, but I'd say give it a shot. Ash was a pretty interesting movie. This is coming in at number 26. We're about halfway through the list now. That's how math works, right? We're about halfway, I think. Ash was fine. It was interesting. It had some good moments. It had some good performances. I think it felt a little bit repetitive, where it was kind of like, it's told in like a reverse order, but like it starts off where it's like, here's the setup, and then it's a flashback, and then you get a little bit of the characters, and you get a flashback, and you get a little bit of the characters. So it felt a little bit repetitive in that regard, but I feel like, yeah. But it felt like each flashback actually added something to the story, helped you create more mystery. Oh, you want to hang out? All right. Shush. But I think my Letterboxd review actually kind of summed this movie up pretty well. I said this movie is just if there was a video game about space, but it wasn't a video game. Because this movie really felt like it was supposed to be a video game movie, and it just ended up... They like wrote the plot for a video game and it ended up being a movie, because it really feels like there's something that it was previously based on, but there isn't. It's just a movie. And like I said, I thought it was creative, thought it was interesting. It had some good visual effects, had some good practical effects, but I feel like overall this movie would have worked a little bit better as a short film, because I feel like a lot of the plot, I don't know, just it felt like it was kind of getting stretched. Felt like it was treading water around the middle half of this movie, but still, I enjoyed it. It was like a solid 3-star movie. Now I gotta go feed this one. Number 25, this is probably the first of a few movies on this list where you go like, really? That high? Fear Street Prom Queen. Now, I did not know this movie was even coming out. I thought the Fear Street trilogy was done and sealed. So, the fact that they came back and told a new story, I was actually pretty excited for it. And it's at 25. So, I didn't love it. It's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself with this movie. It was one of the few horror movies this year that I actually rewatched. I watched it twice because I was like, you know what? Let's see what I think about it on a second time. Because the first time I didn't love it. The second time, I really enjoyed it. I think the two lead performances in it are very good. Those two actresses I would love to see in more, but I mean, the plot is pretty basic. I mean, like, the twist villain, oh my god, the twist is horrendous. So, the plot is that all of the prom queen candidates are getting killed. And who could possibly be the killer? Maybe it's the mom of the mean girl who is, for some reason, extremely obsessed with her daughter winning prom queen. Yeah, who would have thought? She's the killer. Like, it literally is like, there's no way they would do that, right? Like, there's no way the twist would just be that obvious, because, like, my first guess was like, oh, this mom is obsessed with her daughter winning prom queen, so obviously she would be the one, she would be the red herring, you know, like not actually the killer, where it's like, oh, you think she is, but it's actually this other person. No, she's just straight up the killer, so that kind of ruined a lot of it for me. There's a very cheesy dance bit in the middle, but I do really like the 80s feel and like vibe and aesthetic, and like I said, I like the two main characters, but otherwise, I gotta admit, it's not the best. Next up is number 24, It Feeds. Now, I was looking up, like, how people thought about this movie, because, like, I wanted to see if I was on the wrong end of it, because I liked It Feeds. I actually liked it a decent bit, but I went and looked at what people were thinking. Letterboxd, it has a 2.6, so, like, right in the middle, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 89%, so I think the 3 stars that I gave it was pretty justified. I liked it. I thought the performances were very good. Some of the emotional beats were surprisingly effective for me. It has a very creative, it takes a familiar concept and puts a creative spin on it. Like, it's about, like, this mom and daughter who have, like, almost like psychological powers, and they don't want to use their powers, but they eventually end up using them for good. Or I think maybe only the mom has it, but either way. It's a pretty familiar plot. They do a good take on it. This is just an overall pretty forgettable one this year, honestly. When I was doing my list of all the ones that I had watched, I actually forgot this one, and I had to go through my letterbox and actually be like, oh yeah, that's right, I did watch this one. And I didn't hate it. I liked it. I thought Ashley Greene's performance was the standout here. If you didn't give it a chance, I'd give it a shot. I mean, it's not amazing. It's pretty average, but give it a chance. Now we finally reach the movies where, like, everything from here up, I would recommend. I wouldn't say they're fantastic, but I would recommend them. Number 23 is 28 Years Later. Now, this is one of the few movies on this list I have already talked about in a ranking. I think the only other one was I Know What You Did Last Summer, so I'm not going to go through it as much. Oh, and Fear Street Prom Queen. But I'm not going to go through it as much because you can go through and check out my zombie ranking. I've talked about it. And I did a little short where I ranked the 3 movies. I really liked this movie until I didn't. Like, it started off so good, and I was like, okay, this looks beautiful. It's fantastic. And then they start trying to make it more humor. Like, as you go along, they make it more humorous, and it just really didn't work for me. I think the humor sucks you out of a lot of very good moments here. I think the performances are amazing. Jodie Comer was the standout for me, but also Ray Fiennes, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Alfie Williams. Everybody's great in this movie, so the performances were fantastic. You get some good zombie fun in here, but like I said, the humor really ruined a lot of it for me, and I mean, what the hell was that ending? Found in a Cornfield for me was just one that I was really not expecting much from. I expected it to be just like a fun little slasher movie. And that's all I got. Like, I was not disappointed. I was not surprised. I just was like, okay, yeah, that was fun. It was good. It was enjoyable. I think the dialogue for, like, the teenagers is actually pretty good, and some of the humorous beats, like, really worked for me.
Come on, is it bad? Is it bad? I can't look.
Oh my god, it's bad. Oh, it's so bad, girl.
So, like, it's around the middle of the list, because, like, it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a slasher movie. I do like the twist that, spoiler alert, it's not, like, one killer. It's just the entire town is a friendo, and it's about these people just going through and killing all these friendos. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I wouldn't say it's like the best of the year, but it's certainly a good one that I would recommend you check out. You might have a lot more fun with it than I did. I mean, I obviously have it somewhat high on my list, so I liked it, but I didn't love it.
The monkey chain! The monkey's fist! The monkey!
Number 21, The Monkey. Yeah, I don't really know where to begin with this one. I would say, like, yes, I did overall like this movie, but there is so many things that really kept me from loving it. I think this is probably my favorite Osgood Perkins movie so far. Like, I would say that I like this one better than Longlegs. It had some very well implemented humor, and, like, it kind of, like, builds up pretty well. The first 2/3 was amazing. I really, really liked the first 2/3. It had some very good dark humor in it. It had some very good gory kills. It set up the concept. It put in some great performances. And the gore is amazing. The kills, like I said, were gory and funny and gruesome, and I really liked that part of it. And then you get a fantastic dual performance from Theo James. Side note, why were there so many, like, double performances this year? Because, I mean, Sinners, Predator Badlands, Mickey 17, this, like, there is so many. It's kind of funny, but, then the third act. The third act just pulverizes this movie. I mean, like I said, I loved it. until we got to the third act. It just gets so messy and goes off the rails, and not in a good way. Like, major characters just die for no rhyme or reason, and they use, like, this same joke where it's like, oh, you think that they're gonna survive, and it's like they're dead. They use it, like, 3 times in this movie, so by the time they do it with the main villain, you're like, okay, and 3, 2, 1, there it is. Okay. They do it like 3 times, so it just isn't effective the second or third time they do it. I really wanted to love this movie because it's based off a Stephen King story. I want to love Osgood Perkins, but I just haven't loved any of his movies yet, so could have been top 10 of the year if the third act didn't completely collapse in on itself. So apparently the clip for Bring Her Back got corrupted somewhere from transporting the file into importing it into the video. I basically was just saying that the performances were outstanding, like top notch, and it was able to carry the rest of the movie because the plot was so predictable. Like, I was able to guess everything that happened, so I'm really just too lazy to re-record it because I talked about it for like 3 minutes, and I just want to get this video done. So I don't know what happened, but somewhere between exporting the file and importing it, it got corrupted, and it is no longer there. So yeah, I really wanted to love Bring Her Back, but it ended up just being held back by its plot and story. Number 19 is Predator, Killer of Killers. Now, I know you can argue these Predator movies aren't horror, they're more action, but I don't care. I'm putting them on here. And Predator, Killers of Killers was the lesser of the 2 Predator movies that come out this year. It was an animated film that kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even know it was coming out, and then it was just released, and I watched it, and it's pretty damn good. Like, the first 2 segments, I was in it to win it. You get the, like, Viking segment and the ninja segment. I loved both of those. You get some very good yautja, some very good new gadgets that you can see the Predators use, and some very badass characters. The only problem was the World War II segment with Torres. Oh my god. Oh my god. His quips pissed me off to the point where I was just not enjoying the segment. Like, every word that comes out of his mouth is like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell am I doing? Like, it just, oh my god. Like, they use jokes like that, like, so many times. Like, everything that comes out of his mouth in this segment and the segment where they all team up really ruins this movie. Like, it would genuinely jump up maybe 10 spots if it didn't have those awful quips in here. I would have preferred if this one was just a more serious look again, and rather than, you know, trying to implement more humor, like just another serious look at this, but they try to implement humor and it ruins what could have been a very good segment. And this is a remake of a Trauma movie. Like, Trauma is on the same level as, like, Full Moon. Like, nobody knows who that is if you're not a horror fan. But it's pretty damn good. Like, I can't think of anything I didn't like about it. I just think overall it's not really my style of humor. Like, I think everything would work if you were a Toxic Avenger fan. Like, this would be probably the best. But it also felt a little bit too sleek and too polished for a Trauma movie. I love, like, the grime, the, like, grindhouse feel you get from those original movies. And it just doesn't really have that. So I think that was one of the main complaints I have for it. But otherwise, this movie is how you do a remake, because they love the original film so much, but they're able to do new things. Like, they reference the original film so much in this movie, and they even reference other Trauma projects. Like, Nuke 'Em High. That's like one of the only trauma movies I've seen, but I was able to pick out at least 3 or 4 references to that movie in here. So I loved it. It's such a good movie if you are a diehard horror fan and if you have seen other trauma movies. If you haven't, I could see why this movie would not work for you. But for me, being a person who has seen a good amount of trauma movies, I liked it. Oh, Megan 2.0. Why do people hate you so? That actually rhymed. Why is my dog barking now? Right as I start. Sorry. I get it. I wanted Megan to be a villain as well. I understand some of the criticisms here. Obviously, they wanted it to be a horror film. Should this even be on the list? This probably shouldn't even be on the horror list, but it's too late to take it out now. So it ended up here. I liked it, okay? This was my most anticipated film of the year by far. I really, really like Megan. So literally putting her in anything makes me like it more. She's so fun. She's so charismatic. She's so funny. There was many scenes in this of her that I really liked. It should have been horror. It should have been rated R. And yes, Megan should have been a villain. That would have made this movie so much better, but I still had fun with it. I still enjoyed it. I was not disappointed when I saw it in theaters, but I mean, I guess I was a little bit disappointed, but I enjoyed myself with the movie enough that I wouldn't say it was an unpleasurable experience. I liked it. Number 16, we have Final Destination Bloodlines, and this is by far the best Final Destination movie. I like the Final Destination series, okay? I like the first 5. They're enjoyable. They're fun. But this is, like, so far above the other 5 that it makes it makes them look like they're horrible. I think this is the best because it changes the formula. It does something new. The opening premonition isn't just the main character having a premonition and then everybody gets killed. This is a new concept. It is a woman who has a premonition, and then we cut away from the premonition afterwards and cuts to her family a couple generations in the future where death has finally caught up and killed that woman and now is going down the bloodlines killing people to make sure that all these people that were born, that weren't supposed to be born, get killed. So I really like that concept, and you have some very likable characters here, some very good kills, as usual. The only problem is with the ending. It ends so anticlimactically. We get this big climax where we have the 3 main characters, the mom and the 2 kids, and the mom gets killed off so anticlimactically that, like, I actually thought that it was a fake out. And she basically sacrifices herself so that her kids can live, and then they just spit on that sacrifice. Because, like, she sacrifices herself so her children can live, and so that we can have a somewhat happy ending. And then the end of this movie says, you know what?
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Finally, we reach our top 15. Obviously, I liked some of the films I had below here, but these top 15, I would say the best of the year. Like, you should watch all of these. They are all good. Number 15, Locked. Now, this is one that I have heard literally nobody talk about, and that is a crime, because this movie is fantastic. It's another one of the, like, single-location horror movies. It's about Bill Skarsgård, who is usually playing a villain here, and we get to see him in a good guy role here. He sees this car that is left unlocked, and he's not very well off in this movie. I forget what it is with him and his daughter. It's been a while since I've watched this. But he has a daughter in this, and I think he's trying to, like, help pay for her. And so he gets into this car, and he considers stealing it. But the part that I loved most about this movie is that even though he needs it, and even though it's super easy to steal, he does attempt to back out. He does reach for the handle, and that's how he realizes that he was locked inside the car from a guy who is watching him through cameras in the car. Basically, Anthony Hopkins is the other character, and he set this up so that people will try to steal it, and he can torture them and eventually kill them. And so he's just Bill Skarsgård, this character you want to see succeed under the whims of Anthony Hopkins, the owner of the car, and he is so evil and he tortures him the entire time. It kind of went a little bit off the rails in the ending, so that would be my one complaint for it. But otherwise, you get some very good emotional beats in here. You get some very good torture moments where it's like funny but also horrific, where like he'll turn the music on blast and like have like classical music blaring, or he'll turn the temperature down and freeze him out, and it's just like it balances humor and scariness and just everything so well. I love this movie. Huge recommend for the many people who haven't seen it. All right, here it is. Time to piss some people off. Number 14 is Until Dawn. Are you done screaming? Okay. So, Until Dawn was good. It was good. I don't know why everyone is hating on it. I've never played the games. I've never played the game, Until Dawn, okay? This movie, having nothing to do with the games or not being faithful to the games at all, I don't give a shit, okay? Video game movies should not just be the cutscenes from the games put into a movie. That's not what I want. Even if I had played Until Dawn, I wouldn't want it to just be the video game in movie form, because that just doesn't, that's so boring. It's the same thing as like the shot-for-shot remakes with like the what Disney's doing. Like, it's so boring because like I already know what's gonna happen. Why would I want to see what I've already seen again? Like, give me something original, and that's what they do. I knew the concept of the games, but I had never played them, so I didn't really have that emotional value for it. But I really liked this movie. It had some very good graphic, gory kills in here, and they were amazing. I really love the scene where they all drink the water and explode. Great scene. And I get it. The concept is like Until Dawn is the video game where you can't respawn any of the characters. And in this movie, the whole premise is that they keep respawning and keep getting revived over and over again, which I didn't mind. Like I said, I have no connection to the video games. I haven't seen the original game. I haven't watched anything for the original games. I haven't played them. So if this is an offensive recreation of a game that you love, I guess that's fair. But I think as a movie, it works perfectly well, and I liked it. Number 13 was Heart Eyes. Heart Eyes was the first movie from 2025 that I watched. I saw it in theaters and went, that was pretty good, but it would probably be around the middle of my list if I were to guess. Well, turns out this year ended up being one of the worst for horror movies ever, so it's all the way up here. It's gory as hell. Like, some of the gore is, like, probably my main compliment for this movie. I had 2 kills that I absolutely loved, and I think one of them made my top 30 kills video that I did a while ago, because I love it. The main 2 leads have very good chemistry. I would like to see maybe a little bit more from these 2 actors, because I think they have a lot of potential, but I didn't absolutely love their performances in this movie, but they were pretty likable. So were most of the other characters. It was a little confusing towards the end, and I guess the twist within literally the first clue, when they find, like, that ring, it has the initials on it, and that cop's like, well, these are your initials, and I was like, wait a minute, those are your initials too, bitch. But yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It's a good, gory slasher movie in a year where we were seriously lacking in just fun horror movies. I mean, we got The Monkey, we got A Clown in a Cornfield, but I think we need a little bit more of that, and that's why this one ended up working for me so well. I take back what I said about Megan 2.0, actually. This was my most anticipated film of the year. Conjuring Last Rites. Here is another film that people are going to be pissed is so high, because people were like, it's fine. I don't think anybody really hated it, but, like, I loved it, man. I loved it. This was the film this year that had me the closest to crying. So, take with that what you will. That opening scene, oh my god, it's amazing. Because the whole time in this series, you've been setting up that there was this one case that the Warrens never went back to, that it traumatized them, it messed them up that bad. And in this opening scene, they show you why. Because it almost killed their daughter. It almost forced them to have a miscarriage. And that scene like I said, almost got me to tears, because the two performers that play young Ed and Lorraine are fantastic in this scene. And it, like, at first you think it's going to be a stillbirth because they you know, she gives birth to the baby, and they're like, I'm sorry, but it didn't make it. And, like, just, even though you're only like 5 minutes into the movie, you just feel like this tightness in your chest, or at least I did. And it was like, oh my God. And what I thought it was that this was a child that they tried to have and it did die. And that's why they're so upset about this case. But it ends up, no, this is their actual daughter, and by some miracle she survived. That scene, the opening scene, I don't think the rest of the movie ever quite hit that high. I think there were some good moments and some scary moments, and I love that the demon is Annabelle. I would have been so disappointed if the final boss of the Conjuring universe was just like some random demon. Like, I was so happy that they revealed that it was Annabelle, because obviously it should be Annabelle. And yeah, I really liked that. Lorraine and Ed, as always, amazing. Why can't I remember their actor's name? Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, fantastic in this movie. It does have that, like, cliche plot where it's like, oh, the daughter is dating this boy, but the dad doesn't like the boy, and then he'll grow to like the boy by the end of the movie. And that was the one part that I really didn't like about it, because it's super cliche. But there was some good moments in here, and even a death that I was not expecting. So I really liked this one. I was surprised by it. I was worried, but excited when it came out, and I enjoyed it. Number 11, the last one that has to miss out on the top 10, and that is going to be Together. Now, Together wasn't perfect. It definitely wasn't, but I liked it. Alison Brie and Dave Franco are amazing. It's pretty much just like this year's Substance, but they kind of switch out, like, the film industry for a codependent relationship. And I really like that. And all the stuff that they say about codependent relationships. The only problem for me is it kind of feels like baby's first body horror. Like, they really don't go as hard as you would like with the gore. Obviously, if you're not a horror fan, they go hard. But if you're a horror fan and you've seen The Substance and you've seen The Fly and you've seen other body horrors, even another body horror from this year that we'll get to, it just didn't go as hard as I would have liked. There is literally a scene where their arms are, like, conjoined together, and they have, like, this saw, and they're ready to do it, and it cuts away. But, like, you can obviously imagine it, but it would have been better if we saw it on screen. You also get the bathroom scene. Oh my God. Whew. Oh, if you saw this movie, you know what I'm talking about. But then we get the Jamie character, and oh my God, can we stop with this stupid trend where it's like, oh, guess what? This creative plot that we've had the entire time, the concept, guess what? It's a cult. I didn't like that. And I didn't like Jamie's character, that it revealed that this is just a character who has had that happen. I would have just liked if he was an unbiased, like, third party in here that was just kind of trying to deal with the relationship between the two main characters. Like I said, I just don't like that it was a cult. If it was just a natural force they happened to stumble upon, more so than they do in this movie, I think I would have liked it a little bit more. Still loved it. But if it didn't have that, it might have jumped into my top 10. Starting off our top 10 with The Black Phone 2. Black Phone 2 is pretty good. That's about all I have to say. I was excited for this movie. I loved the first one. And, like, I'd put it in, like, my top 3 most anticipated of this year with Conjuring 4 and Megan 2. And I got what I wanted, okay? I heard that it was going to be kind of like a Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street style. Like, he was going to be haunting them, but, like, you know, I got what I wanted from it. I didn't get a movie better than the original. I didn't get something even really close to the quality of the original, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. It had some good scares. Ethan Hawke as the grabber was still good. He didn't have a lot of screen time. I would have liked if he had a little bit more. And I like how it ties the mom's death into here. It kind of makes it feel like they had this plan since the first movie. But it's always hard doing sequels to movies that are based on books that didn't have a sequel, because obviously The Black Phone was based on a book, and this movie is not. So it's just kind of trying to expand the lore a little bit more, and I really like what they did with it. Like, overall, I got what I wanted from it. It just wasn't a fantastic movie. Obviously, it's in my top 10. It's damn good, but I wouldn't say I loved it. Just really liked it. Number 9. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah, the one that came out this year, obviously. It wouldn't be the original. That would be... Moving on. This one shocked me, because if you saw my ranking for the first 6 Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, I don't really like any of them. The first one is the closest I am to liking any of those movies. I liked this one. I liked it. They take the original. They don't do the same thing, but they keep some of the baseline stuff from that original. They reference it heavily. They even reference the second one heavily in this. And I like that about it, because it does a whole new story. It doesn't do the same thing. It gives you a Santa Claus killer, but it's more like a vigilante crime fighting style, where like he only kills bad people. In the first movie, it was like he killed people who were naughty, but that's literally just like, oh, you said a mean thing one time. In this one, it's like he kills emotional manipulators, Nazis, and murderers. So like, I'm not going to say people deserve to die, but like in the case of a movie, you want to see him die. Like, especially the Nazi scene, like where he just goes through and tears through this entire Nazi party. Great. And it has some very good gore, and the 2 leads are fantastic. You got Corey from Halloween Ends and Laurie from Happy Death Day. They're both great, and their romance is very good. And I like the concept that it's basically like Dexter mixed with Venom, because he has like this voice in his head, kind of like Venom, and he goes around like only killing evil people like Dexter. And I love Dexter and I love Venom, so you put them together, make it a Christmas horror movie, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. My favorite remake of the year, oh, actually Frankenstein is a remake, never mind. Second favorite remake of the year, loved it. Here we are, number 8, Predator Badlands. Now, these are officially all of the movies I love. Now, we've talked about some good movies, we've talked about some great movies. These are the ones that I love and would recommend to almost any person on Earth, except for, you know, some of them probably wouldn't be your taste. But 8, Predator Badlands. This ended up being, I think, my second favorite Predator movie. I don't remember what I had in my ranking. I might have still had Prey above it. But I think now, this is my second favorite Predator movie because of how unassuming it is. Like, you see this trailer and you're like, oh, they're just running out of ideas and they're making a hero Predator. This Yautja is the main character. He's the protagonist. And they make him super interesting. They make him a very good character, but they also introduce possibly my favorite character introduced this year. Thea. Oh my god. Ellie Fanning nails this role and made it just so good. Especially some of the scenes that could end up being really boring, where it's just these 2 characters walking. Her charisma and humor just really hits every scene. She made me laugh so many times. She is the best part of the movie. You also get some very good action sequences. You get some very good practical effects. You get a good Yautja costume, which I don't love the design of Deck as much as I love some of the other Predators, but still, he's fantastic. Number 7 is going to be Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Like I just said, this is my favorite remake of the year. The performances are all fantastic. Oscar Isaac is amazing, and I would not be surprised if he got nominated for an Oscar for this role because he is fantastic. Mia Goth is also very good as Elizabeth, and even Jacob Elordi is great as the Creature, which you didn't think that, like, the Creature would have much of a character in this one, but they kind of do some new things where they make the character, or the Creature, able to talk and sympathize with with Frankenstein and him, like, they're able to interact more, and their scenes were very powerful, and honestly, some of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. Frankenstein is my favorite Universal monster, always has been, so seeing a new modern take on it, especially with such a great director as Guillermo del Toro, I really liked it. It looks very modern, very sleek, very professional, and I feel like that works very well for Frankenstein, because we've gotten the old ones, we've gotten some grimier looks at Frankenstein. I love just seeing a sleek, new look for this character and the film. But actually, that is my one complaint. I do not like how the monster looks in this, okay? I understand it's a modern take, it's Guillermo del Toro's thing, he makes him look different. I don't like it, okay? Even, I don't care that he doesn't look like the original, like, green Frankenstein. I don't care that. But I just don't like how he looks. The Long Walk is a movie that I could see a lot of people thinking is very boring, and if you aren't into movies where it's just kind of characters talking the whole time, it will be very boring for you, because this plot, it's just a bunch of boys walking, and when they walk, they talk, and when they don't walk, they get shot. Pretty simple. It's not too long. If it was like 2.5 hours of them just walking, even for me, that might get a little bit grating, but I think it's just about 100 minutes, and shockingly, it works perfectly. I am more a fan of some of the slow build horror movies. I love Paranormal Activity. It's my favorite movie of all time. I love Blair Witch Project. I love just so many different ones that slowly build it up, and this is another one where it's just very slow for some portions of it, but the characters talking is like, it's usually something very emotionally impactful, and I really liked the ending. The only thing I didn't love was that the guy that ends up surviving, I won't spoil it, ends up doing what he does. That's just the one little nitpick I have for it, because all of these characters are fantastic. You love all of them, and obviously the premise is they walk until there's one left, so you know that there's only going to be one of these characters that can survive, so it hurts every time you lose one. Number 5 is going to be my most hot take in my top 5, and that is Drop. Now, I love this movie, and that's because I absolutely adore Christopher Landon. He made Freaky, Happy Death Day, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I love all of those movies for a few very good reasons. 1, he can make them scary. 2, he can make them funny as hell. And 3, he can make them emotional. And you see that in this one just as much as you do in Happy Death Day and in Freaky. Because in Happy Death Day and Freaky, you get these very clear emotional moments where it's just one scene where you get all the emotions and it's very effective. In this one, you get a bunch of different scenes spread throughout this one. You get some of the backstory from the characters revealed through these conversations. And I just really love these two characters, because it's clear that the guy really cares about her. I'm forgetting their names off the top of my head. And it's clear she really wants this date to go well because she really likes him. But she's thrust into such a horrendous situation where she's getting these creepy airdrops from this guy who she doesn't know. It's a whodunit. And she is trying to handle what is going on her phone as, like, her child's life is being threatened, but she can't tell the person sitting across from her, so it's just so creepy. And this girl is so damn smart. She does so many things in this movie where I'm like, damn, even I wouldn't have thought of that. But it just never works for her because this guy is already 3 steps ahead, and it just really sucks every time because there is so many great decisions that she makes in this. But my one complaint for this movie is I don't love the ending where it starts to go off the rails and she is, like, hanging off the window. It gets a little bit action movie cliche there, but I don't understand why people hate this movie as much as they do. Number 4, I went with Weapons. Now, I love Weapons. Having it at 4, not an insult at all. Like I said, I had this movie at my number 1 right after I saw it. It dropped down to my number 4 just because I saw another one that kind of bumped it down, and I realized that I was wrong on a couple. So I love this movie. It is fantastic. The performances are amazing. We get Julia Garner here again. I know we just talked about her in The Wolfman a little while ago, but we get her here again, and she is twice as good in this movie. And you get Josh Brolin, who's amazing. Everybody in this cast is amazing. And it is also super funny, much like Barbarian, Zach Kreger's other movie. He's so good at implementing humor into his horrific movies, because this movie is scary as hell. And it's such a weird and interesting concept. Like, just in the middle of the night, these kids ran out into the city or into the neighborhood and never came back. And nobody knows. That's the whole, like, thing, is that they don't give you anything until they just reveal it for you. Like, you would never guess until they just reveal it for you. So I love that. There's a bunch of terrifying scenes in here. I really like the makeup work for when they get possessed, and the makeup work on Gladys, who is a very good villain. She was maybe my favorite villain of the year. She's just so kooky and interesting when she's trying to be nice, and then this, like, on a dime, she can snap and just be horrific and terrifying, especially to this child character that we're told the story through the eyes of. I really liked the framing where it was like, here's Justine. Justine was my favorite character of the movie, but it's like her, and then it goes to Josh Brolin's character, and it literally has like the little cards saying their name. I really like that. Weapons, for me, is basically a 5-star movie. There was very few complaints I had for it. The ending, actually, that's another thing I want to talk about. The ending is fantastic. When, spoiler warning for Weapons, when the kid ends up turning all the kids against Gladys and they just rip her apart. The gore is so amazing and was honestly my favorite kill of the entire year. So loved Weapons, but it just missed out on my top 3. Number 3 is a foreign film. The Ugly Stepsister was amazing. Like, I honestly didn't know if he was even going out on streaming until I found it on Hulu one day, and I was like, oh my god, this is one of the ones I've been wanting to watch. And I watched it. Here's the thing. I'm a horror fan. I've seen Saw, Hostel, Terrifier. No film has ever gotten to me. Like, you know how there's like always reports of people throwing up in theaters. I did not throw up. But this one was the closest. There was a scene in this where I genuinely felt sick to my stomach for a second. Like, to do that. And it's not even a gore scene. Like, gore will never get me, okay? I don't care how bloody it gets. It will never get me. But there's something else in this movie. The tapeworm. That, like, actually made me seize up for a second. Like, I have never felt that way with any movie ever. But it actually made me feel sick for a second. You know that, like, phlegm that like builds up in the back of your throat when you're about to throw up? I felt that for a second. And I was like, I'm not actually about to throw up at this. And I didn't. But it just, that like split second where my stomach seized up and I felt that in my throat was like, damn. The fact that I went through all the Hostel, Saw, Terrifier, Hatchet movies, and all those gory franchises, and never once felt sick. But in one scene that has nothing to do with gore, I almost throw up. That, on its own, skyrocketed this movie for me. But this movie is amazing in every other regard. The performances are fantastic. Like, they are amazing, especially the main girl. It is obviously a Cinderella story told through the perspective of the Ugly Stepsister. And she is amazing. Like, genuinely one of the best performances of the entire year. Obviously, she won't get nominated for an Oscar because it's a horror movie, and the Academy just doesn't like horror movies. But she should be, because this, oh my god, she's so amazing in this. Everybody is amazing in this. You really feel for her as, like, because it does have these things to say about, like, beauty standards for women and how her mom is, like, forcing her into this, and she kind of doesn't want to. Like, for the first half of the movie, she obviously wants to be beautiful and wants to get the prince, but her mom drills it into her head that you have to, and you have to look beautiful. So then she becomes obsessed with looking beautiful, and she will break her nose. She'll cut off her toes so that it fits into the slipper. She'll give herself a tapeworm so that she'll get skinnier. And it's so heartbreaking, all of those scenes, because she sells it so well. She's such a great performer. What was that? She's such a great actress, and I love this movie. Like, I wanted to put it higher, because honestly, there was nothing that I didn't like about it. But my top two are just a little bit better. I'll be honest, I knew pretty much from the moment I watched these two that it was always destined to be these two. I have seen a lot of great horror movies this year, a lot of fantastic ones, but it was always supposed to be these two. It was always going to be these two. And it comes down to which one do I prefer. And number two is going to be Sinners. Now, Sinners, fantastic movie. I could honestly see this movie getting Oscar nominations because of how huge this movie was. I could see Best Director, maybe even Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan. Definitely Best Songs. This has some very good songs. Yeah, I could see this getting numerous Oscars for this movie, but it's amazing. It's a fantastic movie. 5 stars for me. When I first watched it, I'll be honest, I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did. I loved it. I still thought it was like 4-star movie, but on rewatch, yeah, it's 5 stars. It's a 5-star movie, okay? There is one complaint, that I have for this movie. And that is that I think it derives a little bit too much from Dusk Till Dawn. Just a little bit, okay? That's not even enough to knock it out of being a 5-star movie for me. But that's my one justification for having it at 2 and not number 1, is that it was distracting how obvious it was trying to play off of the From Dusk Till Dawn thing. But still, we had amazing performances from Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, everybody in the cast, amazing musical performances. The barn burner scene is possibly the best scene in the entire year of movies. Like, it was amazing. Like, it's just so awesome. And we get Remick as a villain. He is so ungodly hateable, and he is so evil in everything he does. This was such a surprise for me, I'm gonna be honest, because like I said, didn't love it on the first watch, rewatched it, now it's up here. But number 1, my favorite horror movie of 2025 is Companion. Now, I know a lot of people didn't love it as much as I did. Companion is so good, okay? It is amazing. My favorite performance, not the best, I wouldn't say it's the best, but my favorite performance of the year is Sophie Thatcher as Iris. She is so good, and this movie is so good at making you think that it is not an Android movie that it gaslit me into thinking it wasn't an Android movie. The first, 20 minutes, I was like, I swear this movie was about androids. I swear this movie is about androids. But it does so good at being like, what are you talking about? It's just this normal couple. So, if you had never seen the trailer, which I hadn't, I just heard about it, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's just this little couple. Let's see where this goes. And no, it is an android movie, and it's revealed Sophie Thatcher is an android. But I think the better twist is that there's a second android, because obviously, Sophie Thatcher is an android. That's the whole premise of the movie. But Jack Quaid is amazing in this as well, as sort of like a villain you wouldn't expect for a horror movie. Usually, you think of like an android horror movie, you're like, oh, obviously the android's the villain. No, they flip it on its head in this one. The android is the protagonist, and they make her shockingly like the most human character out of this entire cast, and everybody in the cast is great. Everyone, not only Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher, like I mentioned. I just can't remember everybody's names off the top of my head. I have a lot of knowledge up here about movies, but every single actor's name, not one of them. But everybody was fantastic. One of my favorite scenes is when Iris kills the Russian guy, and it's like, from our perspective, we don't know she's an android yet, or at least you wouldn't if you hadn't seen the trailer. And so him coming on to her, and the things he's saying is like, oh, he's one of those disgusting, like, men who tries to come on to women like that. And then when you go back and think about it, when you watch it a second time, you're like, he's saying you were made for this because she is a sex robot. Like, he wasn't being... I mean, he obviously isn't a great guy. They talk about how he was cheating on his girlfriend, but, like, still. It's so good how they are able to use this theme. They don't try to shy away from the theme. It's right there. You just gotta look and you see it. That they are saying, like, yeah, some men treat women like objects, and in this case, she actually is one because she's an android, and she eventually gains sentience and independence. And I loved this theme. See, Black Christmas 2019, you can do a theme about women. You can. It's actually possible to do it well. I'm not sure if you were aware of this. But, yeah, Companion was my favorite of the year. It had some of my favorite performances. Some of my favorite scenes, honestly, that scene at the dinner table with Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher. I think his name is Josh. So Josh and Iris, fantastic scene. I love everything about this movie, and it is my favorite horror movie of 2025. And that is going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe so you want to see more videos like it in the future. Make sure to bell notification to be notified when I post any brand new videos and the rest of my end of the season rankings. I just ranked all the horror movies. My next video will most likely be my top 10 movies of the year, then my bottom 10 movies of the year, and then I think I'm going to do my most disappointing movies of the year, and then I'm going to rank every single movie I watched, which will be these movies and many more. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.